Item 15 is a modification of Section 12 of the Mobile Home Rent Review Board Guidelines. Mr. Epp.
Mayor and Council, I don't have a verbal staff presentation for you. We tried to give all the background necessary in the written staff report. This was simply a clarification of the guidelines that I believe was requested by the public, and Councilmember Diaz asked to have it put on the agenda. I do understand there's several speakers on the subject.
Are there any questions in at this point? We have a couple of speakers. The first is Larry Stenick.
Take one and pass them
down. Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council. My name is Larry Stenick. I live in Escondido. We have read the staff report and would like to thank the City Attorney and his staff for their work on this issue. This past February 11th, I offered my services and those of MPAC to try and bring negotiated settlements to you, similar to what we were able to achieve at Imperial Park. Part of my motivation was a recognition that if the Council could spend less time on rent control review issues, it would have more time to focus on budget and cash flow issues during these very uncertain economic times. Over the past month, I have spoken to a number of people about the suggested wording and the changing of the mobile home rent review short form guidelines. As staff points out in their report, these guidelines have been in place since 1997 and have worked very well. Since a blue ribbon panel developed these guidelines, it seems to me that a similar blue ribbon panel should be the ones to make any modifications to the guidelines. So where does that leave us? We firmly believe that the owners or owners' representatives should be speaking to residents during the rent review process, and that the wording in the staff report is very useful. Therefore, it is suggested that the exact words recommended by staff become part of the administrative guidelines used by Michelle Henderson's team. It would work like this. During Michelle Henderson's initial rent increase meeting, she meets with the residents, the owner's representatives, and code compliance personnel. This is an introduction meeting that goes over the requested increase, the dates for the hearing, and code compliance inspection criteria. It provides the residents with the ground rules for the upcoming rent control hearing. At that meeting, she can explain that the administrative guidelines strongly suggest that the owner or owner's representative meet with the residents to attempt to resolve any issues or differences that they may have. By doing this, we leave the mobile home rent review guidelines untouched, but we still manage to send the message to the owners and residents alike to discuss and attempt to resolve their issues. The one concern about the suggested language is that the park owners will substitute park manager for owner's representative. As we all know from hearing after hearing, park managers are not the owner's representative. Some examples of the owner's representatives that have appeared before you in the past are Jana Wyman. She was the attorney representing Imperial Park. Jim Younts. He was the regional manager for Carefree and West Winds. I can't pronounce his name. Chelu Trabiasco, president of MCM, Ponderosa Park. Ron St. John, he's the attorney for Town and Country. And Susan Pebley, she's the owner of Casa Grande Mobile Home Park. Park managers are simply employees charged with the responsibility of collecting rents and managing the day-to-day maintenance of the park. They are powerless to negotiate anything that would represent a huge waste of time in this process. So we would ask that you direct Michelle Henderson to add this wording to her administrative guidelines, and that you also instruct her that the words owner or owner's representative do not include the park manager. Thank you for considering this matter, and I trust that you will see fit to add the suggested wording to the administrative guidelines. Thanks.
Thank you. Wayne Lau.
Mayor Byler, members of the council, staff. I'd like to thank Councilman Sam Abbott for attending 2 impact meetings in a row. Thank you, sir. And as June Rady, who was Mayor Pro Tem in the past and a council member, the creator and the originator of the short form rent increase, I think you have learned a lot during those 2 meetings, or at least the last meeting, and I hope that you, if you haven't already, sir, share that with the rest of the council and the public. The thing that's being brought before you today, item 15, thank you, Olga Diaz, for bringing this forward. But keep in mind, a meeting with the park owners and or the residents, or the representative of the owner, does not stand up for the residents of the mobile home parks. And please be aware, as you have been shown from Carefree, the owner, Bart Thompson, Thompson Properties, beware of the deception, the misrepresentation, the misdirection, and the general putting off of the residents on their concerns when the next round of rate increases that will come before you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you. That's all that we have for speakers, so council discussion.